Hi everyone, welcome back to Travel Diaries by Niyo. In this episode 8 of our series, we have Varun with us.
Hi, this is Varun.
He recently visited Australia and he's here to tell us all the insider details such as cost, stays, transportation. So let us dive in. So, Varun, why Australia? What made you choose this destination?
So Australia is something that it was a bucket list item. I have been very fond of Australian as a sporty culture and the lively people are there. Means it's something to I explored through the cricket that I watch on. Means I watch cricket very avidly. So Australian cricket and the cricket tours that do happen there was an exposure for me or the introduction for me into Australia. I always wanted to be there, but yeah, means this was an opportunity to go there with the Border Gavaskar Trophy scheduled in 2024. So yeah, the plan clicked and me and my brother went there.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
nice. So, how long was the trip?
So the total trip duration was around 10 days. I traveled two cities,
Hmm.
Melbourne and Sydney. So 5 days in Melbourne, 5 days in Sydney.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a very exhaustive trip in terms of exploring a lot of things in these two cities because when you always want to be there and want to experience that culture, you sort of tend to sort of explore a lot more than you when you are just suddenly there. So that's something that I was able to do in these 10 days.
Okay, that is amazing.
Yeah.
So, was this your first time visiting Australia?
Yeah, this was my first time visiting Australia. Yeah. So I have been to a foreign country before, but yeah, this was first time I went to Australia and experienced the culture there.
Okay. So, how did you go about getting your Australian visa? Was it a smooth process?
So yeah, it was a smooth process in terms of application processing. Means in terms of all the things that were required were very clear. Especially I did my whole process through Australian Embassy website. So everything was very clear, and you required to sort of enter few details that were asked in the form itself. It was a subclass 600 tourist visa that I went ahead with, and the total cost of visa was around 12,000 rupees.
Oh,
So yeah, but yeah, in terms of the process, you just upload few details. Then there are documents that are required. The few key documents that are required on processing of an Australian visa is a commitment that you would be returning back after the completion of the trip. So for me, since I am a salaried employed, means that is something that was to do with your uh, HR and the manager saying that you would be reporting back to the office at this certain date, and that did it for me. And there were few documents that were required as address proof, but yeah, means you just upload these documents and it's pretty much straightforward. But yeah, just do keep in mind in terms of the whole things that are required. Don't skip few things just because they are optional or something like that. Do the optional stuff as well, and that would lead to a successful visa processing. But yeah, means if you are ready with all the documents and you have submitted the application, it usually takes around 20 days for the processing of the visa.
20 days.
It can range higher in terms of at what time you are applying. So it can range to up to 30 days as well. So I applied on 18th of November. I got the visa at 11th December.
Oh,
So yeah, it was pretty much straightforward.
yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So, how did you book your flights? Do you have any tips for our travelers?
sure. So I booked all my flights through Neo. Uh, Means everything like from going from India to Melbourne, Melbourne to Sydney, and then Sydney to Mumbai. All three flights were booked from Neo. The reason that I booked it from Neo because these were the cheapest that I was able to find because of the zero convenience fee I had with the premium membership, as well as the coins that I have sort of collected over the past few months due to the referrals that I did and everything. So I was able to get a lot of discounts while booking this flight. So yeah,
Oh,
Neo was the choice for me.
that is amazing. That is so good to hear. How did you plan your itinerary? Because, like, we know that Australia is such a vast country. Like, how did you plan it?
So for me, since I mentioned that I am a big cricket fan and especially Test cricket fan, it was first booking the tickets to the matches, which was the Boxing Day Test match from 26 December to 31st of December, and then the Pink Test, which is from 3rd January onwards. So once we were able to sort of book these two match tickets, we were then able to plan what else can be done. So the way then we went about it, ski I wanted to see that New Year celebrations in Sydney as well, which was on 31st. So it's like first I'll watch a match, Boxing Day Test match from 26th to 31st. I'll take a flight on 31st itself,
Hmm.
and get to Sydney. and at the night I'll just enjoy those fireworks, and then at third the test match then starts. So it's something that I planned the whole trip around it. These are the main junctions I want to be, and what are the places that near these junctions I can explore. So the beaches like St Kilda Beach in Melbourne, the Yarra cruise, the Sydney Harbour, and these kind of places then were then planned according to this particular schedule. So yeah, it was cricket first, then the things that I wanted to explore more, and then filling in the things that people or the travelers usually do there. So yeah, once that schedule is clear, that means it's pretty much straightforward to do that. Also, itinerary is a very important requirement in the visa as well. So in visa, you have to upload that itinerary. So it's better that you pre-plan in such a way that you are able to sort of write the whole document in such.
Right. So cricket is a really big deal for you.
Yeah, that was the big deal.
Yeah. So would you say your trip was a budget-friendly trip or was it a premium trip?
It was a premium trip because
Okay.
honestly, I didn't budget it. It was, since it was a bucket list item, I wanted to explore it fully. It was a free flowing trip. Whatever I wanted to do on the trip, I did. There was no left regret that I want to take back to India. So that's why I explored it fully. But yeah,
That's great.
yeah, means with the Niyo card, the markup savings, I was able to do that. And I'm not sure a lot of people would be able to do that without Niyo.
So how did you book your accommodation? Were you staying in Airbnbs or hotels?
No, entire duration of trip, I sort of stayed in hotels. These were premium hotels. The reason I was able to book these hotels were certain points that my brother was able to accumulate from his past trips. So since he had those points, we were able to sort of book these hotels on discounts.
No.
But yeah, means the entire trip was very seamless in terms of booking, as well as there was a 1 day extension that I needed for the last day. And the hotels there, the people are really nice in Australia, so they usually accommodate your request very seamlessly. They do take a deposit, but it's seamless.
Okay.
Yep.
So now what were the key places you visited?
Yeah. So again, I'll start with mentioning about the cricket stuff, which was like the Melbourne cricket ground and Sydney cricket ground were the top two things. Then for the New Year's and the further exploration were through the Sydney Opera House as well as the Harbour Bridge. The things that we planned according to these major junctions were the St Kilda Beach, the Yarra River cruise, the South Bank in Melbourne, then the Royal Botanical Gardens that were there in just near to the Sydney Opera House itself. Yeah, so these kind of places I explored through that. Then two of the major beaches in Sydney, which were Manly Beach and the Bondi Beach. These two beaches were like really serene. Means these were really nice places to for people to visit. And since we had all the other things plans, we were able to sort of do and explore these things as well.
Okay, all right. So tell us about your experience about the fireworks that you told us at the Opera House.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, like I took a flight from Melbourne to Sydney on 31st itself. So it was a evening flight from 5 p.m. to, it was a 1 hour flight. It was 6:30 landing. So since being an Indian, you have an ego, right? Means what would be the rush there in a country like Australia? It would be like, so means I have been to Mumbai's Lal Bagh Cha Raja. That is like, for me, it's like the supreme, like the most crowded places that you can be.
Definitely.
So I thought ki I had an arrogance ki I'll just go there. The fireworks would be waiting for me to be sort of blasted there. So that is something that I had in mind. But the experience sort of turned out to be completely different. So what happens in Australia is there are two times at which these fireworks happen at 9 p.m. At 31st 9 p.m. as well as at 12 a.m. Which is actual sort of the New Year's thing. So they do it in two phases and they do it at two places as well. One is at Darling Harbour and one is at your Sydney Harbour Beach. So they do it at two places. So first we were able to sort of make out, okay, these are the places that we have to be there. So first we went to the Darling Harbour because that was the lesser crowded places of the two. We went there and by foot then we traveled to the Sydney Opera House. So the distance was around 3 kilometers, but it took around approximately 2.5 hours to navigate to that place. And also there were a lot of restrictions that were in place. So there were barricading that were in place to sort of restrict a lot of crowd to sort of moving, because Australian people take stampedes and these kind of situations very seriously. So they had few barricades on every junctions. So the only way I was able to get through those barricades was a pass that I was able to take much in advance. So I booked a pass of approximately 6,000 rupees through Event Tribe, if I remember. So means once I had this pass, I used to just show that pass and get ahead in the line. But as still getting at to the final sort of frontier, which was the Sydney Opera House, took us around 2.5 hours. We reached there. Yeah, we reached there at time 11:30 a.m. But we were 11:30 p.m. But we were totally tired. So it was just walking with camera and everything. It takes a lot of thing. And the funny part we did was that we wanted to click photos on the near the fireworks at the opera house in tuxedo. So that was me and my brother sort of planning it that way. So just walking with all these stuff, wearing a sort of a heavy tuxedo was something that, yeah, was a unique experience, but it lived up to the expectation. It was the fireworks was just for 10 minutes, but it was totally worth it. Just going there,
Yeah.
it was really nice.
Definitely a memorable
Yeah, it
experience.
was something that I was planning to go there, but the type of experience that I had was really good.
Okay, all right. So Australia is really famous for the wildlife. So did you experience or did you visit any zoo or anything like that?
Yeah, so this is something that I forgot to mention. So the two places that I really liked visiting in Australia were there was one aquarium, Sea Life in Melbourne,
Okay.
and there was one zoo in Sydney, Wild. The name of the zoo was Wild.
Wild.
So means these two places got to experience a lot of the indigenous sort of species that are only found in Australia. So that is something that was unique. I saw a shark for the first time.
Oh my.
I saw a penguin for the first time.
Yeah.
These were the two things that I got to explore in the aquarium that I visited
Okay.
in Melbourne. And in Sydney, I got to see kangaroos, the koala. These kind of animals are just found in Australia. Means in my memory, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to sort of see them because it's like you have always heard of Australia as a land of kangaroos. So you wanted to see them when you were there. So that's something that I got to do.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. So, were you actually able to feed them or were you able to touch the animals there?
Yeah, so the experience there, especially in the zoo, it was very sort of personal. Means there were sort of keepers who used to sort of manage the entire park, and you are able to sort of touch these animals, especially non-wild ones, the kangaroos and these kind of animals.
Yeah.
Koala is something that they charge a premium to just hug the koala. So that is something that they do there. But yeah, means that the whole space was very protected. The animals that you can touch were allowed to be sort of touched, but there were few animals that are very wild. You can't sort of touch a shark or maybe a crocodile as well, right? So they had few experiences that they were able to create, which was like a tunnel through which you can just go into the burrow and just explore how the crocodiles are living. These kind of things that they did from their end just to make it very personal.
Okay.
So yeah, the experience was really good.
Okay, all right. So, was there a particular city or a spot that completely wowed you?
So Melbourne is something that I fell in love with. Means the whole city is something that I really means I had an expectation that it would be good, but it just blew me away with the things that they had. The areas that I really liked were the Yarra River, the whole trail. So what I did is ki the hotel there provided a bike. So I took that bike, and the whole city was sort of planned in such a way that it was around that Yarra River itself, and it was sort of offsetted by a bike trail as well. So you were able to sort of just following the whole river trail,
Yeah.
you were able to sort of explore the entire city.
Yeah.
So this particular experience, this I did on the first day itself in the evening, and the days there are very long. Like the test match got over at around 5 p.m. and post that I just sort of did this the and till 9:30 p.m. it was daylight there. So it was totally a serene experience, like the whole river trail and going about it. So yeah, I really like that. Like that.
Okay, all right. So, now talking about transportation, how did you travel between cities? Were you using public transport or like taxis, cabs?
So in Australia, like it's very the planning of the city is done in a such a way that everything is accessible through public transport. Like when you want to get to from a point A to B, everything is sort of accessible by public transport. Uh, there are cabs there which are like 13 cabs, Uber. These are the top two players in a cab. But I recommend that stay away from them because they have a particular premium that they charge just to sort of navigate by those sort of modes. So it's better to rely on public transport, especially when you have everything. When you are sort of going abroad, you want to sort of save more and spend more on the actual experiences, right? So it's better to rely on public transport, and you can get entry into a public transport without any issue. Like your debit card, which is your Neo debit card, directly works there. You just tap in and you get in. So it's that seamless. So yeah,
Amazing.
that's one thing.
Public transport, as in like metros, buses.
Yeah, so the public transport, there are multiple categories of public transport. So in Melbourne, it's majorly your trams, your metros, which is like trains. So these are the two sort of major participants in the public transport. Apart from that, in Sydney, there are ferries also. So
Okay.
you can travel from a spot to a next spot from a ferry, which is like you are exploring the whole harbor as well as you are just navigating to the place as well. So we did travel from Circular Quay, which is your area of your harbor, and then we traveled to Manly Beach through a ferry. So we explored the whole thing as well as we went to that Manly Beach. So yeah.
Okay, all right. So now coming to the food scene there, how was it? Like, did you try anything unique?